Rad Radio 92.7 WMDX. This is the John and Gordy Show.
Good morning, John.
I love it. Rain and sleet. Little beads of ice in my windshield this morning. Makes you feel wonderful.
And a little snow in the mix.
Well,
Mixed precipitation, we call it in the radio weather business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just getting you into the holiday mood. With
I love that. Yeah.
Mix of crappy rain and
it looks
snow.
awful out there right now. Just, terrible. Look,
Streets are wet.
There's a jogger with a light on his head.
Really?
Yep.
Here
right
he comes. What's he got the light on his head for?
Well, it's kind of a Cyclops thing. They like doing that.
Just so he can be more visible to the vehicles that are driving around this morning.
Yeah, you got to see his head.
It's a good idea.
Forget the body, the dark part. Some people with umbrellas.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a busy, bustling city today.
There goes a bus. There. And a car and a jogger. 7 minutes past the hour.
Have we had the material already?
Traffic and weather together. John and Gordy with Sam Davison behind the controls this morning. Sam, how is your world going so far?
I'm doing all right. I got my flu and COVID shots yesterday, so I'm a little sore and tired. But
yeah.
Doing all right, though.
Any kind of reaction at all besides just a sore arm?
No, just the usual stuff.
You get tired afterwards? Or you had to
should
take
get
a little
really
nap?
tired.
Yeah, I was pretty tired yesterday afternoon, but
you got it in the morning?
Slept a good while.
After you left here, you got it in the morning? The shots in the morning
yesterday at like 3 o'clock or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, should start kicking in.
Oh, it's kicked in already.
Yeah?
Oh, man. The thing is, you get both of them at once. That was kind of the advice. But if you're older, kind of a senior thing, if you get two at once, they have a super strong flu vaccine. It's twice the inoculation, and
twice the inoculation of people that are not our age.
Of the normal one. So it's like when you get that and you get a double shot, you might as well just hang it up. Last year I did it, and it was the worst experience, and I'll never do that again. But
really,
I put it off now, the flu shot, and I haven't gotten it yet.
Me either.
So you need to get it because it staves off dementia and Alzheimer's. That's the current research.
Is that really?
It does. It does.
I don't believe that.
No, it does.
Really?
Okay. Mr. Science right over here.
Okay.
You're calling into question my knowledge.
Right. People have not been getting their flu shots and COVID shots.
You had a percentage yesterday.
I mean, it was something like only 5 or 6% of people have had their COVID shots. The boosters,
indestructible,
the new ones,
yep.
And the flu shots only something like 10 or 15%. Don't quote me because I'm not sure on these numbers, but it's way down.
It's really low.
Really
low.
Really low.
16, 17%.
Come on, people.
Wisconsinites got their shots. Yeah.
And here we are heading into Thanksgiving holiday weekend, mixing the family groups from all over the country. Everybody's flying in planes.
Well, that's right.
Traveling, and
that is
remember
so
when during COVID everybody was afraid to go anywhere, and now here we are once again. It's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. You don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to get shots. Where everybody's okay. Actually, the numbers are up.
When you think of the COVID pandemic, we're all we huddled away. We stayed away from big groups. We didn't go out at all. Just stayed home, binged on Netflix. But the Republicans, the conservatives out there who don't believe in COVID and think there are other ways of dealing with it, it's not a thing to them. And I think, the pandemic is a big deal in our history. It was an important time, and we went through a convulsive state. Businesses went out of business. Schools were closed down, and teachers were vilified for not going in and teaching during a pandemic. And we're just trying to recover from that now, and it's not going well. So it was so big, and when you think about it, we are impressed by that, this moment in history, but Republicans, they just discount it. It doesn't exist in their mind. This was just a created thing by the Biden administration, who wasn't in the presidency at the time. So, it's just an important historical marker that the Republicans, again, will just simply reject.
Well, and yes, the mega extremists would like us to forget about it altogether. Remember they were all over Fauci for offering all this good advice about what to do, and then just the
everybody backed the CDC. Everybody backed the science. Everybody was there. Even DeSantis was on board. And then all of a sudden, everything just flipped and turned.
And now it's fading into the memories. People aren't concerned about it at all. But I tell you, the numbers have started coming up again for COVID and the flu. So get those shots. Get those inoculations.
Get them.
Yeah, you and I have to let's do that right after the show. Let's go to Walmart and get our shots.
I got my COVID shot. I need the flu shot, though.
Okay. Yeah. You did get the COVID shot.
Yeah, I did.
See, I'm way behind the curve.
They have my record at Walgreens.
Do they?
Yeah. My long record of boosters. But I got to get that flu shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good advice. Good advice.
Yeah. Are you passing out good advice this morning? Could I have some of that?
Sure. No, I need to get my shots. I've been meaning to do that. Maybe I'll do it today. I'll report back to you tomorrow if I come into work, if I'm able to.
Do you think you can get? No, you just can't walk in and get a flu.
Yes, you can. Walmart, you can.
Shot?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Same thing, flu shot and but I don't like to get them both at the same time, because if you do have a reaction, then you don't know what to blame.
Well, you don't want to do it because it's a double shot for the flu.
It's a double shot.
And it hurts. It hurts. And you really, really get tired the next day. You are down in the dumps. You might as well give up the entire week, right? Take the week off, folks, because those shots are
I'm doing it today.
Incredible.
I'm going right after the show. I'm doing it today.
Really?
Yeah. Which one should I get?
Because tomorrow's our last day before the holidays, and you're going to sit there and be downed out while we're trying to do the most, I guess, proactive Thanksgiving turkey show in the world.
Tomorrow?
You love Thanksgiving so much. Holidays are not a big
really.
deal to me. No, they're not a big deal to me. Okay.
Thanksgiving, I don't know. You doing any family thing?
Yeah, we are. We're going to
Are you going up north?
Wife's mom's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We don't go up north anymore. My parents passed away, so we don't go up there anymore. All my relatives are up there, and I want to see them.
Why don't you go up there?
Well, we really wanted to do that, and we were about to do that, and
they said, don't come up. No, we don't care about
my wife wanted to get a puppy. And then all of a sudden, the travel plans were put on the back burner, and now we're never going to see our relatives again. So when we start dying off, no one's going to show up at our funerals. I hate to bring everybody down, but that's the reality.
Way it is, huh?
Yeah, that's the way it works. Up north, it's all Norwegian, and my relatives are Norwegian.
Are they?
Peterson, right? So, Norwegians are very cold, distant. They do not have family get-togethers. They don't hug.
They don't hug?
No, they don't hug. Oh, you like that, but
What do you mean I like that?
You
like not
you don't
hugging?
You hate the hugging, the touching.
A little standoffish. Yeah. I don't. Again, since COVID, no hugging. What's the signaling? What are you signaling?
See, this is what you were doing to me yesterday. And you had me going, I didn't know what signals you were giving me, but,
We really have to get the signal thing down a little bit.
You were either giving me the bird all morning long, or you were telling me we had 1 minute.
I was trying to give you time cues. Yes.
Oh yes.
You had the blinders on. You were in the moment. Whatever you were ranting about. I'm just trying to give you a time cue. Like, hey, don't start another subject. We've only got a minute left here. But hey.
Did you hear what? The Devils yesterday? I tuned in yesterday.
I missed it.
And they were having a fist fight.
They were punching each other out.
A fist fight on the air.
Wow, I didn't know they were doing that.
People were freaked out. Callers were calling and were saying, "Oh, you guys got to stop it! You can't do this to yourselves."
They were not having a fist. You're making all this up now.
Well, they were bitterly arguing with each other. So.
About what? remember?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But they were, very much disagreeing with each other.
Well, that's part of the show occasionally.
I remember what it was. It was they were talking about interest rates on home buying, right?
And that led to fisticuffs.
Well, Dom is saying, well, you got to look back in history when they were lower and better, and people bought a lot of houses then. Now the market is up again, and you have greater value in your home properties, but the interest rates are up. So you have to look at the time. And Crute goes something like, well, thanks for the history lesson on home financing.
Wow, they got into it.
They were tearing into each other. It was bitter. It was bloody. It was bloody. But remember,
what?
It's not personal. It's politics. That's their line. That's their slogan.
Good. You okay? What happened? You knocked into the
I kicked
trash
the garbage can. Look, I'm trying to set it up for you.
You have the garbage can over there, and I was trying. Yeah, well, that would be nice. Thanks. So I could reach it instead of trying to throw the trash over there all the time and hitting your leg.
I wish we had done all this preparation before we got on the air, but okay, I moved it.
Thanks. Okay. You got a little edge going here today, don't you? You're just a little angry.
Are we?
Do you have too much coffee or not enough coffee? Is it time for a coffee break already?
I haven't had enough yet. Okay. Here's what happened. I get up every morning like this, and I have a small bowl of oatmeal, and it's just enough for me to get in. No, you gotta have your fiber and protein.
I have oatmeal once in a while,
so I always do it every morning, a little bit.
All right.
Because when I get home from after the show, I have like an omelet of some sort. But anyway, I'm there, and I have a routine first thing in the morning now. Timing wise, it's very important. So this morning, I'm thinking, gee, I forgot to soak my oatmeal overnight, which I do. It softens the oatmeal a little bit. And then my kid comes up, my older one, 24 years old. He's still up, and he comes up and he goes, Dad, I'm hungry. So I have to make him something. So, it just threw all my timing off, and it's fine. I don't care. I made oatmeal.
Speaking of timing, we got to take a little.
Oh yeah, you give me the cues again. All right, I'm done.
We'll be back in a minute with more of the John and Gordy Show.
This is the John and Gordy Show. It's amazing how we thought of that title.
And then we just
amount of creativity.
Yeah. We talked about it. We had a meeting, many years ago. Should it be the John and Gordy Show or should it be Gordy and John? We settled on John and Gordy just because it kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit easier.
It does.
But, I'm really having second thoughts about it now. And then we discovered not too long ago there's a guy named John Gordy.
Yeah, really pathetic. That was pathetic.
And
that
he
guy almost had me going. I almost followed him on Facebook.
Yeah, he has a Facebook page or something. I don't know. I don't know. Did we ever talk about who he is or what he's doing or what is he out there in the public media?
We sent somebody out after him.
Did we?
So don't worry about it. He won't bother us anymore.
Okay. John Gordy. We really should reach out to him and maybe get him on the air here. Call him up.
John Gordy.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is. So here it is, the day before Thanksgiving. We're on the cusp. Everybody's talking about
holidays, man.
They're talking about Black Friday already. Black Friday deals are already out there, right?
I thought I've gone through at least 5 Black Fridays in the last month. What the heck is going on here? I thought I hit the main one, didn't I? I did not hit the main Black Friday yet?
No.
That's still to come?
Yes.
God.
It's this Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving.
Me again.
They fooled everybody. They've been doing this for years now. They just start these Black Friday sales a couple of weeks ago.
Right, in July.
But did you know, John Peterson?
No, I probably didn't.
There's a Brown Friday.
Yeah.
There's a Brown Friday.
Really?
Yeah. There's not just a Black Friday. There's a Brown Friday, too.
Well, I can't wait till Red Friday comes around.
It's the same day.
Well, why is it brown on the same day as Black Friday?
You plumbers out there know what I'm talking
right?
about.
This war versus Black and Brown Friday.
Well, I have a nephew who's a master plumber. He's been plumbing for 20 or 30 years. So you go up the line in the union hierarchy. Mm-hmm. You start out as an apprentice.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it takes a long time to
Padawan.
achieve. Pardon me?
A Padawan.
Excuse me? A Padawan? What's that?
A Padawan is basically a trainee of the force.
Is that right, Sam?
That's right.
What do you know about Padawans?
Oh, I know it's a Star Wars thing. I was going to say the Force is strong with your nephew.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my nephew's a master plumber, so I know a little bit about it. He tells me plumbing stories when we gather around the Thanksgiving turkey.
Which might be... He must be...
He's got stories. I should bring him in here sometime. What? Why do you think that's so funny?
Obviously, hit of the party.
Okay.
The plumbing stories. You gotta be kidding.
I'm not kidding. He's got stories about plumbing you would not believe.
What a great thing to have around.
Yeah, Thanksgiving
at dinner time.
Yep,
I'm telling you.
He's a really funny guy, actually. So a plumbing company is warning U.S. residents about Brown Friday.
It's
the day after Thanksgiving. This is the busiest day of the year for plumbers.
Is there any
the
explanation for that?
Yes.
Any at all?
Roto-Rooter says Brown Friday is the busiest day of the year. Roto-Rooter. You remember that?
They would know.
Yeah.
I've used them a number of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well,
we had roots in our pipes, so.
It keeps flashing in here. It's like a strobe light is going off over us.
It's something in your coffee, man.
Okay. Anyway, Roto-Rooter says Brown Friday marks the busiest day of the year. Can you imagine why?
No.
Why? Why would that be? Well, they get 50% more calls than on an average Friday. And the reason being because Thanksgiving happened. That's right. Thanksgiving weekend overall averages 21% more calls for service for plumbers than the average Thursday through Sunday period.
Overindulging,
Starting to make the connection here. The company said the main culprits for plumbing calls are clogs in kitchen sinks, toilets, and garbage disposals.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Here's a quote. Often the case is that a house already had partially clogged drains that go unnoticed until the holiday guests arrive, and then they overwhelm the system. So what are you serving up on Thanksgiving that clogs everything up? Well, a company spokesman, Paul Abrams, on the Roto-Rooter website says even more problematic is that virtually every traditional Thanksgiving dish is a drain clogging culprit.
Absolutely.
Everything you're serving up is clogging up the system. The toilets, the garbage disposals, the regular plumbing. It's all clogging things up. It happens all at once. Everybody's overindulging, and then you know what happens a few hours later. Yeah, you gotta go to the bathroom.
My wife's dad was one of the biggest culprits ever. We'd go to dinner. I'd be over at her house.
Yeah.
And we'd be just about to eat, and he'd have all this stuff, and he'd be like jamming it down the garbage disposal.
Yes.
And it was just ridiculous. I mean, seriously, stuff I'm thinking, don't put that in a garbage disposal.
Exactly.
You can't use that much stuff in a garbage disposal. And he did. And he was replacing it all the time. And he said, these things aren't as good as they used to be.
And that's the problem. Roto-Rooter offers some advice for avoiding Thanksgiving weekend plumbing catastrophes.
That's right. Just throw the stuff in the garbage, recycle.
That's it. So what you need to do, you need to keep fats and cooking oils away from the sink, okay? Don't put that stuff down the sink.
No.
You got to wipe the grease out of pots and pans with a paper towel before washing them.
Exactly.
Throw that in the garbage. Yep. And then don't put potential clog-causing foods such as poultry skins, celery.
Unbelievable.
Don't put celery in the...
people think celery's okay, but it's stringy.
Yes, it's stringy. And fruit and potato peels, don't put that down the garbage disposal either. The garbage disposal is the number one thing that landlords complain about, that people just they abuse them. They don't know how to use them.
That's why they
clog up all the time.
Apartments don't have many of them.
That's right.
Why.
They're trying to
Unless
avoid...
the new modern ones do. I don't know.
No, they don't want to. Well, I guess the modern ones are probably better than in older buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
Older buildings have smaller, older pipes that can't handle this
stuff. I think that they have high velocity garbage disposals now.
High velocity.
They do.
Super garbage.
Yes,
disposal.
super ones. Yeah.
Super big garbage
and they
disposal.
go under there and everything. I didn't know, and I found this out, was that your dishwasher can be routed, the emptying pipe can be routed into
the drain pipe, you mean?
Yeah, well, the drain pipe for the...
I'm going to call my plumber nephew and get him in here.
Dishwasher, it goes through the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
A lot of it. A lot of it does.
Yeah. So that's your plumbing advice for Brown Friday. How to avoid clogging up your pipes and your garbage disposal. Just be really careful about what you put down there.
Just be smart.
Don't put that other stuff down there. The grease.
I'll pat myself on the back for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
It's stuff you learn.
Why would you put poultry skins down there? Look at that.
I don't know.
Celery. Don't put celery down there. Okay.
Well.
So you've learned a little something here about Brown Friday. How to avoid it.
And all those great, wonderful stories that the plumbers bring to your dinner.
6:29. We'll be back after the news.
On WMDX.
John and Gordy in the morning. As we were saying. Let the sun shine. It's the John and Gordy Show. John and Gordy, oh, John and Gordy, John and Gordy, oh, John and Gordy, John and Gordy,
That's us.
John and Gordy.
92.7.
Yeah, rain and snow today.
WMDX Mad Radio 608. We encourage people to contact us in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
A letter in a bottle, maybe.
Yeah.
608-879-8255 or 608-879-TALK.
Or send us a telegram. Telegram, John and Gordy.
Or a fax.
Get the fax machine going.
Yeah.
Fire it up.
Yeah.
Send us an email.
That's a good idea.
Send us a letter. Yeah, a nice little letter. Remember when people sent Christmas cards? Do they do that anymore?
People right now are probably
Yeah,
sending
people
us a
still do
little.
that.
Do you get it?
Really?
You get
I mean, my family never really
Yeah.
did it, but
Yeah.
yeah, my relatives do Christmas cards still.
Oh,
That's nice.
that's pretty
good.
wild. Yeah.
We get a few every year. Maybe 5.
How about a family
4 or
letter?
5.
Right.
Oh, those
you
are
tell
good.
people what happened to your family that year, and
Yeah, what
everybody
happened.
sits there going, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
But, people do that too. And, you don't fault them. It's not a big deal. You do read through it,
Sure.
see what the family is doing, their family's doing.
Usually,
Then you
usually
think
there's a car accident that happened to somebody.
some happy story
Somebody
like
broke
that.
an ankle.
Yeah.
Somebody got sick. They
Spent
were
the
in the
last
hospital.
5 months in the hospital. Yep. Those are good stories. Filled with Christmas warmth.
Somebody got divorced or went off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the heartwarming stories that everybody likes to share around the holiday time. Do you have a story for us, Uncle Johnny, this morning?
Or a police arrest of some sort.
Somebody was arrested. Yeah.
No.
Somebody got lost.
I watched, speaking of this very topic, there is a holiday movie on Netflix, I think,
Yeah.
and we watched that a couple of nights ago, exactly dealing with this, this letter to the family. Every year at Christmas, they tell them what they've done, and most of these people think they're lying. They're just blowing this out of proportion. They can't possibly be this successful or happy, know? So, yeah, it's, But you can't fault them because they've gone through a lot of work and effort, and they are telling a story.
Right.
And so it's kind of interesting to look back on it, historically for their family to look back and say, oh, this is what my mom wrote about us in that year. And it's kind of interesting to look back on it. But for us, no, we don't put it on the refrigerator and read it every time we pass by.
Right.
So,
The traditions are kind of falling by
Yeah.
the wayside.
They-
People don't do this anymore.
That's
know,
right.
because they're just will text out something, put out a text.
Yeah.
Or just an email or something.
Right. A couple of emojis of some sort, and then you're done. You don't have to deal with them anymore.
You notice how these Hallmark cards, the greeting cards, they just keep going up in price. It makes me think that they're not doing as many of these anymore, so they got to, jack the price up a little bit more.
Right. They're less creative, I think, too.
Still, you see a lot of them, though, at the Walgreens and different drugstores.
They cost a lot.
Aisles and aisles of these things.
Now, I used to like the ones with the battery in it, and you open it up.
It's got a
and
little song.
Get a little story
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
Heartwarming.
And usually they have like a cartoon character, a popular cartoon character of
Peanuts.
the time.
Yeah.
So
Rocky and Bullwinkle.
I was thinking Pee Wee Herman or
Yeah.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah,
Something a little
great
more
cards.
outrageous, but
Yeah.
yeah. Or maybe a Sith Lord or something like that.
No.
You don't
Really?
really want to talk Star Wars, do you?
Oh,
Okay,
geez.
look, I'll just steer clear of the topic completely. Like we
I
never
saw the
ever
first two
had the
movies.
Star Wars movies.
I saw the first 2 movies. That was plenty for me.
2.
That's it. I didn't care
I mean, I
after
guess
that.
you end on a high note. Empire Strikes Back is
Yeah.
considered the best one of all of them, I
Yeah.
guess.
Why go any farther?
Yeah.
It's just a money grab after
And
that.
we were
for the-
talking about, well,
What?
who is Emperor Palpatine?
I don't care.
I mean, this is the guy that recruited.
Okay.
Darth Vader.
We're gonna do this
kind of
once a week. Now we got to go down the Star Wars
storyline. Well, we're going to educate you. We're trying to get you to come over.
Why do we have to go to this rabbit
movies.
hole every once a week?
It happens.
What about Star Trek?
It just happens.
You into Star Trek at all?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked
Big
the
time.
first series and then the Next Generation, and then again I checked out of Star Trek. That was it. That was plenty for me.
Next Generations is really, really good.
I think so.
Yeah. Did you watch Next Generation? It's on.
Oh, no, I didn't watch it.
All right. Paramount Plus, I believe.
Okay.
But it's really, really good.
Who's in it? Any big stars in it?
Captain Pike. You remember him?
Sure.
This is the story of Captain Pike.
Okay.
Leading up to the fact that someday he'll be like disabled completely.
Okay, so this was pre Star Trek, the first one.
Right.
Before
you
William
gotta check it
Shatner.
out. Where's Dan? Where's Dan when we need him? Remember, he used to give us messages all the time. Anyway, he isn't doing it now because he doesn't give a rat's butt. He tuned out. All right, here's something I want to bring up. This is really important because it has to do with a lot of people who live downtown. They work at Epic out in Verona.
Big medical place, right?
Medical software.
Yeah.
So a lot of people live all over the area.
Sure.
They drive, they commute, they make these long commutes into Epic.
Mm-hmm.
Epic has a new standard. I'm just going by memory here, an article I read yesterday. They have new rules when it comes to snow outs. Now, usually they go by what the school districts are saying, no school today, closed down because of the snow. So Epic went by that. Now they've changed it and said, no, now you got to get approval by the people that work over you, your supervisor. And you're not going to be able to work from home as much anymore. And they're drawing the line, and people are like freaking out at Epic saying, no, we got to stand out in the freezing cold, like sub-zero weather, below zero. And these people are going to, stand there waiting to get into work when everybody else is told to stay home. And Epic is saying, nope, you got to come into work. And they're just having a mutiny out there.
Wait a minute.
They are.
They have long lines to get into the building? Or what are you saying? They're standing out there for 30 minutes
not
to
get
in?
into the building, but to commute there.
Oh.
A lot of people take buses from Madison, downtown, east side, to get to Epic. And now they have to stand outside waiting for their buses in sub-zero weather when everybody's told to stay home. It's very, very dangerous weather, and they're actually being told to come into work anyway.
It's Wisconsin.
And that's what's happening out at Epic. It's a huge event for them.
Okay.
And they're just freaking out. A lot of people have quit because they found out it's just like really difficult to get off. And here they are, a software company where you could probably, call it in or work from home, right?
Right.
And they're just going the opposite way. You got to come in. You got to get an approval by your supervisor, and the supervisors were told not to give you the approval to stay home. So they're not really happy about it out there.
So
They
on a
do make
day like
quite a bit
today,
of money, though.
when there's just a little rain and snow, are they going to have to call each other and see who's going into work? There's a little snow out there. Just see, it's falling right now, right on State Street.
I wouldn't
really
go in.
just don't go in.
Yes. But
Do
anyway,
you need to check with somebody?
Yeah.
Every day?
But there's a lot of people, a lot of young people that live downtown here who work out at Epic. And now they have little bus systems that takes them out there and all this stuff, and now they can't stay home when they did during COVID. They have that system kind of developed because of COVID.
Sure.
Now they're ignoring it, and they're telling people, come on in.
Got to work.
Yep.
Gotta be here.
Come out to Verona. Jeez. It's quite a commute.
I understand it's a big company. There's a lot of people that are working there. It takes a lot of coordination to get them in there and get everybody in at the same time so they can work. But don't you think it's a little over the top to just
require everybody to come
require everybody to be there every day?
It's crazy.
And if there's a snowstorm, you still got to come in.
Right. And
unless
like
they're calling up the schools.
They went by school closings.
Yeah.
Makes
What's wrong with that?
But that doesn't make sense to them anymore. I don't know. It seems really unreasonable. And when you think of, the route to get out there, there are only main thoroughfares to get there, 151 or, the back doorway through Highway M and the whole thing. You can get out there, but it's a little more difficult. And there are commuter buses that go out there. But, this is a big problem for a lot of people.
Can't they just send out some texts? Isn't that the...
Well, here,
they're a software company. They're a tech company.
High-tech company. And
send out a text. Hey, no school, no work today.
Exactly.
Stay home.
Exactly. It's really unfair. I'm siding with the employees on this stuff. It's like they don't recognize where we are. This is Wisconsin, and it is winter, and we've got that kind of weather.
So there are going to be a few snow days along the way.
And they're not allowed those snow days. So... At least that's what the article said, and the people interviewed, the employees who remain anonymous at this point. So,
employees are upset about it.
Upset, up in arms. You ever see the buildings out there?
I've just driven by them.
There, isn't it crazy?
I've never been on a tour, but I do understand they offer some tours, right?
Yeah.
Go in there and
walk
around and look at stuff.
Yep. And we've been meaning to do that, but we haven't really done that. Now they're building up a whole another complex out there. I can't imagine what style of buildings they're going to be putting up this time.
Yeah,
something out of Metropolis or something. Something crazy.
Maybe we could take a tour.
Retro modern.
Why don't you, me, and Sam go out there and take a tour if they offer them?
Yeah, we'll do interviews.
We could see if we find any unhappy employees. They'll talk to us.
Yeah,
about the outrageous weather policies they have.
That's crazy stuff, isn't it? Crazy stuff.
It's weird, wild, wacky stuff.
How much time do we have? 2 minutes?
Is it time for a coffee break?
3-4 minutes. Okay.
We have a coffee break. Okay.
Fresh coffee.
Fellas, don't drink that coffee.
What?
It is the caffeine.
The sugar level, the caffeine level, all conspires to make things a little squirrely.
I don't think there can ever be enough, too much caffeine.
Caffeine is just a sort of a general phenomenon that should be, spread and promulgated as many directions as possible.
That's what I'm thinking.
You'd never guess.
What?
There was a fish in the percolator.
I thought it tasted funny.
I like it back then.
Yeah.
It tastes great.
Hey, speaking of coffee,
what?
Let's talk about Starbucks.
Oh, yeah, there is a story.
Wait. Wake up, gotta fill up your cup. Coffee.
Coffee.
Black, please.
Yeah.
Wanna stay up late.
Stay up late.
Simply percolate. Coffee. Need a cup.
Hey.
Coffee.
Yeah. Or thermos.
Coffee.
Thermos-sized cups now.
So what's the story from Starbucks today?
Starbucks, the baristas.
Yeah,
they're on strike, man, in the area. They're calling it the Red Cup Rebellion. The Red Cup Rebellion.
Well, what's the problem? Is it that they're getting called into work with bad weather?
There's somebody out there now fighting for them. It goes by the name V for victory.
Okay.
All right, here, the Red Cup Rebellion, if you're unfamiliar with this, the significance of the Red Cup, it's where customers are offered free, reusable Red Cup holiday cups.
Oh, how
that
festive.
They can reuse them, come back in with them, and it brings a lot of people into the store.
That's a great idea.
The baristas are angry because they don't get the help they need when the stores are jam-packed and lines outside the door to get these red cups. And these are special holiday features of Starbucks. And Starbucks, the management, doesn't seem like they're really motivated to give them the opportunity to hire more people or bring more people in for that specific day. And the baristas are not happy, so they're striking.
Why? Why would the baristas be that upset? I would think they'd make more money when there's more people coming in. They get bigger tips.
They can't serve them.
What?
They can't get the people through, It's jamming the stores up, and they need more workers in order to help process the cups of coffee and get people in and out a little bit more.
I understand that.
Now, the company says its store leaders control staffing schedules.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of passing it off to them. And they say the stores are often allotted additional staff hours for promotional days, but apparently that isn't happening. They're not really carrying through on that promise. And so there is a Red Cup rebellion going on in the Madison area.
Okay. Well, we'll keep you posted on what happens next with that.
Yeah.
Right?
You bet.
It sounds like a big story.
Coffee.
We'll be back.
Some men drink alcohol. Some men drink juices from the vine. But as for me, I'm very simple. Give me coffee every time. Make it warm and make it sweet. Just the way my life has been. Give me coffee, 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 coffee. And let me tell you, you have found yourself a friend.
There it is. Beautiful, isn't it, huh?
Wisconsin's Dave Dudley.
Yeah, Dave Dudley. Fantastic voice.
Oh, yeah.
Great songs. But that song just hit home for me, except for the sweet part. You know, he has a sweet life and everything, but, you know, I like it black, you know?
Right.
So I like my life a little dark.
So what a surprise. You went out with Dave Dudley's cousin or something?
Niece or something, you know, in high school.
Somebody you
she wanted to, you know, go out a lot, you know, and I was kind of, you know, lukewarm on going out with her. And she kept telling me that, you know, my uncle is Dave Dudley, you know. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's great. I was into country music at the time, mid 60s.
Yeah, his big hit was 6 Days on the Road, right? That was one of his
he had a
ones.
lot of big hits.
I know, but that's
a lot of trucker songs.
Trucker songs, yeah.
So anyway, she kept bringing it up, and I would be able to meet Dave Dudley someday. And, you know, I wish I had, you know, but I just, I didn't go out with her.
The end. That's it. That's the story. Really? That's it.
Well,
I was kind of hoping for a bigger payoff there.
Well, I don't.
It wasn't Dave Dudley
What
from.
was I supposed to do?
Well, wasn't he? Where was he from? It was he was a little town up north somewhere, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
I know it wasn't a big story or anything, but.
It was coffee related, and that's good. And the Starbucks people, I'm sure, appreciated that. The Red Cup Rebellion, or
the
whatever
Red
you
Cup
call it,
Rebellion
is happening all across the fruited plain. People are not going to be able to get their coffee from Starbucks.
But
anymore.
if you ever really wanted the perfect song to play and give people the right idea about what you're into,
there's more.
It is coffee, 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 coffee.
From Dave Dudley.
Yes.
Yep.
Spencer, Wisconsin.
Spencer.
Didn't we just talk about Spencer, Wisconsin?
Where is it? Where is it on the big Wisconsin map?
Now you ask another question. You ask me where he's from. I looked it up. Well, where is Spencer? How do you get there? Maybe let's go to,
I bet Sam knows where it is.
I knew the name, but I didn't realize that I grew up so close to it. It's in Marathon County.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like, I just lost it.
Okay. Up north there.
It's by Marshfield.
Okay. There's a landmark. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
All right. Yeah, Dave Dudley.
Truck driving son of a gun was one of his hits.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Just a lot of really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well,
6 Days on the Road. Me and the CB. Remember
the CB craze? Right? Yeah, that was big stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
They still sell CBs. Truckers still use them.
I think they have kind of a Bluetooth version of it now. Just wear the headphones and you're on your way. So, yeah.
You've heard of this AI stuff, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
There's a big story out. I saw it yesterday on the So I'm looking at this story, and this guy is, what is his name? Sam Altman, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's like the guru of AI, Chat GPT, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he left a company, or he got fired, and he went over to Microsoft. Now they're starting an AI. All these huge, billion, gazillion dollar companies are starting their own AI services. And so this is a story I saw on Wall Street Journal, and then I thought, oh, here's a little summary of it. They put out these little audible or these little audio clips of the story. So let's listen to that clip about this story. Sam, go ahead.
More than 500 employees of OpenAI have threatened to leave the company if the current board doesn't resign and reinstate former chief executive Sam Altman and former president Greg Brockman. OpenAI currently has about 770 workers. Following the removal of Altman on Friday, Microsoft said late Sunday that it hired Altman and Brockman to helm a new advanced artificial intelligence research team after his bid to return to OpenAI fell apart, with a board that fired him declining to agree to the proposed terms of his reinstatement. Amid the talks to bring Altman back to the company he co-founded, the letter is the latest twist in what has been a bizarre few days for the artificial intelligence startup following the firing of Altman on Friday.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
That's, but you think that if he went over to Microsoft, he'd take a lot of the former employees with him.
That's correct. Now, what struck me about that story is here I'm listening to that story, and that's an AI voice telling me a story about AI. And it suddenly dawned on me, how do we, did you hear the emotion in her voice when she was quoting something? They were like dialing up the emotion.
Oh, yeah.
When she's quoting. Now,
it's getting better. It's getting better.
And I'm thinking more and more of the time now, we're going to start hearing AI voises in our radio news, perhaps.
Right.
You don't think so?
Well, I think we have that already, don't we?
Well, yeah. Haven't you ever heard, like, well, you know what a deep fake is, right? Or no?
Right.
Not sure.
Basically, you take a real person and you have a computer study their
algorithms,
like videos of them and their voice,
their accents.
Yeah, and you're able to replicate their voice. And sometimes, well, it's pretty good. Usually, you can tell that it's still a fake. Like just yesterday, I saw a video on Facebook of it was an AI video of Donald Trump. Where it was a scenario where he's working at a hardware store and he's talking about how great their plywood is.
Oh, we got to find that.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay. That's a great thing.
That's the best application for AI,
is to mess around with stuff like that and create fake scenarios.
I just watched a movie where the guy was talking about AI, and he said it's not so much artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
He calls it another intelligence.
Okay.
Or alternative
intelligence. Well, I'm thinking we should get in on this, John. You and I, let's create some fake John and Gordy alternate intelligence guys so we can take a couple of days off here and there.
That would work.
We just feed into the system, our voices, our inflections, our sense of humor, just feed it all in there. And then we can just, program it once in a while from home.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have to come in here.
Well, there would have to be a training.
Yes. A training period.
Yes. We'd have to have that at least. So it'd be John, Gordy, and AI.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a work in progress, right?
We'll work on that. Yeah.
Get some artificial intelligence in here because we need help. We need all the intelligence we can get, even if it's artificial.
That's it. Exactly.
Okay. Is it break time already? Okay. All right. We'll be back with more after this.
It's the John and Gordy Show.
The opinions that you may hear us express, expressly or otherwise, over the public's airways, is in no way to represent the opinions expressed or otherwise by our management, producers, sponsors, or various members of their staffs or their families or few friends.
Nor should these views express the opinions of the broadcasters, the disc jockeys, the salesmen, the program and music directors, and their secretaries and girlfriends and wives and their staff.
Unless, of course, we are willing to assume that we can assume the responsibility that their opinions will not influence anyone else's opinions.
Or their family and friends.
And staff.
Pretty much makes sense.
We got it covered. Yeah.
We got it covered, yeah. Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX, the John and Gordy show, and we're talking about AI and deepfake voices.
Yeah, artificial intelligence. That's what it's all about.
Now, we have quite a stock, as everybody knows. We have quite the tracks from Donald Trump, right?
Well, yeah, we play a lot of Donald Trump
We have saved them all.
Audio, yeah.
And we will continue to play them ad nauseum here on the program because...
they're humorous.
Because it makes sense.
Well, and they're frightening.
But now, because we're running out, he hasn't said anything in the last 24 hours that, we could overuse.
Are you sure?
Maybe. We'll look and see... Why do we go? Why do you go to a deep fake AI voice?
Wait a minute. This is not really Donald Trump. What we're about to hear. This is a fake.
Be.
This
it
is
be.
artificial intelligence.
Sam brought it up. He was watching a video. Let's play this thing. This is supposed.
Look, I understand what you're saying, but you're not listening to me. This is plywood. You can't return it after you've cut it. It's policy. Everyone agrees, don't they? They say, sir, it's the best policy. We've received no complaints, actually, about our policies. Absolutely no complaints. People come here, they buy the plywood, they cut it, and they love it. They say, this is the best plywood we've ever used. It's true, believe me. I've been dealing with plywood my whole life. I know plywood.
But it splintered when I cut it. You're telling me I can't
Splintered? Impossible. It doesn't splinter. You're probably doing something wrong. Me? If it was me, it would never splinter. It's never splintered when I've used it, actually. It wouldn't splinter if I wanted it to, and you're trying to tell me it splintered? Well, I've probably cut this same thing 1,000 times, and they all come to me, they say, Donald, how do you cut it so perfectly?
He should be working at Home Depot.
That's great.
It is. It's pretty wild. We're going to have to keep an eye out for other deep fake Trump voice
I like that
situations because, I kind of like him as a checkout clerk, a hardware store clerk.
Yeah. That's really good.
Oh.
That's really good. That voice is pretty spot on.
It is fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wild and wacky stuff.
That's what
wild and wacky stuff. All right, I want to get
imagination, or is that some weird stuff? I mean, that is weird, wild, wacky stuff.
You
are correct, sir.
It's artificial intelligence there from Dana Carvey. I want to bring this up. I was listening to the Devils yesterday, and they were talking about a poll that they had read, and there was a poll question that just bothers the heck out of me, and I'm wondering if everybody else listening to the sound of my voice this morning, 2 or 3 people out there right now, would agree with me that the dumbest question, one of the dumbest questions on these poll surveys is, are you doing better under President Biden? Are you doing better?
Are you doing better than 4 years ago?
If you think just even for a moment, just get a second thought, like Trump insists that we do. Think about it. It's dumb. It's ridiculous. Are you doing better under President Biden? And the thing is, we are also under the government control of the legislature, the Republican legislature in our state. Other states have red state legislatures, and it depends on how comfortable people feel in those states with their government, their local government, nothing to do with President Biden. So they may be really unhappy with their local statewide government and then feel very depressed and they're not doing well and they're angry and frustrated, a lot of resentment. Has nothing to do with the President of the United States. that question is so broad and so ridiculous and so inane that we have to we got to get rid of that question. Okay. Are you doing
Don't
better?
ask that question.
You know, the same thing happens where what direction is the country going in the right or wrong direction? And well, they ask that question and people answer it, but wait a minute. Shouldn't we ask why they think it's going in the wrong direction?
Yeah, exactly.
It would help, right?
Pinpoint it.
Yeah, pinpoint a little bit.
Details.
It's not both sides.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, yeah. Why do you feel that way? Well, the Republicans, I don't like what they're doing.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Or something, anything.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we're the right direction, wrong direction.
It's a very open-ended question. People can go anywhere with it. Well, I don't like I'm not making as much money as I made last year. You know, you can go anywhere with that. Or, you know.
It's totally ridiculous because, you know, no one's really happy with what's going on in their life. You know, they wish they were making more money. They're living paycheck to paycheck, or they had a certain, you know, mechanical failure. The car broke down. Their furnace has to be replaced. They're not doing as well this year. And so, well, yeah, I'm not doing as well this year, but you can blame Biden. I guess you could blame him.
I don't like my boss. I don't like this. I don't. Yeah, you can.
It's, you know, and just break it down a little bit. It's the worst, dumbest question they have foisted off on us, and it's just a standard poll question now. But it's the dumbest poll question ever, and I'm so glad to finally get this off my chest.
Do you feel better? Okay, relax now.
I'm so relieved to have finally said what I wanted to say about that question.
All right. Good.
Okay.
You okay now?
Yeah, I think I can make it.
I'm going to switch gears just a little bit because we've been talking about Donald Trump.
Yes.
You know, there's a new book, and you've probably seen Jonathan Karl talking about this book because he's out there on the book tour right now, talking about Tired of Winning by Jonathan Karl. Now, he's an excellent reporter. He's been on the Washington scene for decades.
Right.
And this is, it's called Tired of Winning because remember Trump said this, and I'm quoting the press. I wish I could do a Donald Trump impression, but I can't.
Me too.
We are going to win so much you may even get tired of winning. Yeah. Trump famously boasted in April of 2016, you know, when he's running the first time. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. We can't take it anymore, Mr. President. It's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep on winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. So that's where the title of the book comes from. Yeah. But let's listen to Jonathan Karl talking about this book. Here he is with Stephen Colbert a few days ago.
If he's such a loser and he spreads, you know, losing like a contagion, and he's got 91, you know, felony counts against him now, like, why do you think he's such a lasting grip on a party that had many opportunities to end the specter of him, whether it had been either impeachment or just if Kevin McCarthy hadn't gone down there and kissed the ring?
Yeah, first of all, it's important to remember, less than a year ago, he was trailing Ron DeSantis in polls. In one Wall Street Journal poll in December of about 20 points or so.
It was flipped just a year ago.
But I think part of what's happened is people look back. There's anxiety in the country. People have economic anxiety. There's discontent with Joe Biden. And I think there's some superficially a sense of like, look, if we can only go back to 4 years ago, the world was relatively at peace, inflation was low, everything was I think there's some of that. And that's why I wrote this book, because if people are going to go into this next election thinking about that, they also need to be thinking not just about what Trump was, but what he is now and what he is proposing and planning to do, what a second Trump administration would look like. And I don't think people have come to terms with that at all.
See, and that's what this book is all about. I mean, it's kind of a review of his first term. There's a little bit of that.
You're still a reporter in John Karl.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's what makes this a little bit more credible.
But what's interesting to me also is Jonathan Karl's one of these reporters, and Maggie Hagerman.
Yeah.
Also, Haberman.
Yeah. Haberman.
There we go. Somehow Trump feels perfectly free to open up to them and tell them exactly what he's up to. Mm-hmm. He's not holding back.
Yeah.
He's not keeping it secret, all these plans. He's laying it all out there and say, this is my plan. This is my platform. This is what I'm going to be doing. And so jump on board because things are going to change when I get back in office. Going to start throwing people in jail, going to go after them with both barrels. So anyway, I think it's really interesting. This book is really a good read. And yeah, Jonathan Karl, he's been with ABC. I think he was with CNN for a while. He was president of the White House Correspondents Association. He's reported from the White House under 4 presidents. So he's been around for a while.
So he's been around.
And he's pretty much even-handed in his assessment of things. So good book, interesting. Hey, a Christmas gift item, or put a stocking stuffer.
You're holding it up like everybody's watching
Facebook and
YouTube or.
Hey, listen,
X.
I'm not making any money on the book. I don't have a skin in the game on this thing.
No, but
I'm
I
just
like the
saying
visual.
it's a really good read.
I want to work on the visual on this program. It's a radio show, but I like the video stuff now.
Again, back to the artificial intelligence
Yeah.
thing. I think we should have a couple of memes. On Facebook and all the social media.
Yeah.
While we're talking, have like little cartoon memes.
Yes.
In front of a couple of microphones.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we work on that, Sam? You're the producer.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Maybe over the holiday weekend,
Okay.
you could come up with something.
Well, I came up with something.
Okay, let's hear it.
And I think we should, the new feature that we have on the show.
The conversation?
The conversation. I think we have a new introduction to this.
Conversation don't come easy.
Talk, let's have conversations in the dark. Conversations I can never get enough, so I'm included in the conversation. Hey, a little less conversation, a little more action. In the dangling conversation. COVID conversation.
I like that. We don't have the cold beer, but
we can get some.
But the conversation allows us to bring up a whole bunch of different little things.
Okay.
Little things, wisdoms that you come across on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Right.
I got to stop saying that. I just hate that more than anything. And, Facebook, everybody's got their little witticisms and funny stories, or even serious stories.
Okay.
This is a serious story. The FEC commissioner is calling out her GOP colleagues in a brutal 5-sentence takedown. That's a ridiculous titles.
Can you hold on to that bit of conversation? That's just a perfect tease.
Wait, dangling conversation?
Yeah, we're going to dangle it right there. We'll be back in 60 seconds with more.
We'll be right back to the action right after this message.
And the John and Gordy show. These national news shows, when they take a look at the national average price for gasoline.
Yes.
It's always super high. It's like $3.31. That's the national average.
Well,
and then the red state Republicans come up and say, "Oh, see, this is what's happening under Joe Biden," But really, it's like what, 280 or 290 something
around here,
like that in our area.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like that.
It's different in Los Angeles,
it's
in New York.
It's different in the big cities.
Yeah, the big cities.
My God.
Big prices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So we were just starting with our conversation. The dangling conversation.
We have the short little one that I put in there yesterday.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The conversation.
Okay.
Quinn Martin production.
All
right.
What are we
The
conversating
FEC
about?
commissioners calling out our GOP colleagues. There are at least 58 instances where the Federal Election Commission heard allegations against Trump. In at least 28 of those 58 instances, staff at the Office of General Counsel determined that a criminal investigation was warranted, all of which went overlooked by Republican commissioners. Oh, surprise, surprise, right? What's that all about? Come on, if you break the law, if you do something unwarranted, then you have to investigate, but not the Republican commissioners. No, Trump gets a pass. They refuse to approve any of the council's recommendations against Trump. Violations against the elections. Come on. This is driving everyone crazy. At the FEC, Mr. Trump is in a category by himself. She's just
over the
to
top.
Be tied.
Well, there's so much from Trump. It just, never stops.
It's a fire hose.
So by the time we catch up to that story, some other thing has gone out there, and it just continues like that. It's just a steamroller of breaking the law and breaking the rules.
Now, a lot of people don't know, about the conflict in Israel. It goes way back. This thing goes way back. Half of evangelicals support Israel because they believe it's important for fulfilling end times prophecy. Now, this is what I remember. This was really popular back then. Mm-hmm. They wanted to support Israel because of the end times. 80% of evangelicals believe that the creation of Israel in 1948 was a fulfillment of biblical prophecy that would bring about Christ's return. Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel was the only concrete thing evangelical supporters can point to as part of fulfilling that biblical prophecy to bring about the second coming of Christ, the end time. Now, that's not a very happy story.
No, it's
but,
not.
This is why many of them support Israel.
And that's maybe why he did that, right?
Yes. Well, that's exactly why he did that. Yeah. So it's crazy stuff, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, said the fight for the survival of Israel unites us all. And he's a Christian nationalist. And this is what he has in mind. You got to play to that group, and they're very, very powerful now. Like I said, Trump has opened the door for all of these wild and wacky groups to get or grab some power at this point. So that is all part of the conversation, my friend. We have another conversational story right here.
Okay. Converse with us.
Mike Davis, an ex-Gorsuch law clerk, touted as Trump's next AG, threatens to indict, detain, deport Mehdi Hassan, and put a few people in prison.
Mehdi Hassan
is
the
MSNBC host.
Oh, he's excellent.
He's really good.
He's really good, yes. He's really sharp. He's on top of all the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike Davis tweeted, Trump's dream team. Mehdi Hassan is now on my list to indict, to detain, denaturalize, and deport. That's what he wants to do.
Based on what?
He said, I already have his spot picked out in the D.C. gulag, but I'll put him in the women's cell block.
What?
Yeah.
What?
What's a sick side to the mega. So these whiny leftists don't get beat up as often. So that's why he wants to put her in the women's cell block.
Okay, that's just taking the crazy one more
And then
step.
Mehdi Hassan,
that.
by the way, he had a tweet. He responded to this crazy Mike Davis guy.
Okay.
He says, nothing to see here, just the former Gorsuch law clerk touted as Trump's next attorney general threatening to indict, detain, and deport me. For what? And put Tim Miller, who is gay, in a women's prison. Nothing at all unconstitutional, fascistic, or bigoted about any of this. And
it was a good response.
A good response.
Yeah.
It's a good response.
Good heavens.
And that is all part, my friend, of the conversation.
Conversation never stops.
It's a conversation piece. Is what it is.
It is. Okay.
All right. So
good. I'm glad you brought it to the table here for our conversation this morning. Okay. You feel better now?
Yeah.
Is there more?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk about funding elections in the state. Do you want to get to that?
Yeah, let's get to that.
We were kind of
I had an article on that. I'm
hot on this. State lawmakers approved a constitutional amendment. Now, this is where everybody, all the voters out there, really have to pay attention to this.
Yes, because this was all agreed to, right? This is one of those things that it passed. And the money is there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anything can pass in the legislature at this point with their supermajorities. So the Republicans are definitely going to slip this by the voters who will get a chance to chime in on this referendum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a constitutional amendment to voters in April that would ban outside funding for administering elections.
Okay.
Now, this is crazy stuff because during the COVID pandemic, they were on vacation. The politicians at the Capitol were on vacation. This was their year off. They get 10 months off, and they get full-time pay, by the way. They didn't come back. They didn't take care of the elections. People were, told not to go out in public, and the Republicans didn't care. They never came back, never made adjustments, never paid for the elections, extra staffing, extra ways to send out the ballots so people could vote by mail. They didn't bother. So now they're coming up with a constitutional amendment making sure that no extra money, Zuckerbucks, would be coming in from other independent groups to help the state elections work.
To make them more efficient, to make sure the machines work, make sure everything is going the way it should be going.
They have enough staffing.
Yeah, they have enough staffing.
According to Assembly Majority Leader Tyler August, it's not about political parties. It's not about campaign operations. It's about the actual administration of elections, which should be done only by elected local governments. And it's like, of course, that's true. That happens.
Right.
But they don't have enough money to have enough funding for staffing, for machines, all of that.
Yeah.
So,
on it goes.
And that's just part of the conversation that we're having in the state right now. Don't approve this constitutional amendment. Slip by the Republican legislature.
29 past the hour. We're coming back after this.
portion of the show is being brought to you by Mama Edwina's genuine, authentic, real imitation frozen simulated pizza pie with an average of 53 anchovies per pizza. This is just an estimate, however, and your anchovies may vary.
I'm hoping not a big anchovy fan.
I like variable anchovies.
Yeah, they're a little salty, I think. Mad Radio, WMDX 92.7, and the number is 608-879-8255. We're getting, a few comments here and there, Don't forget your RSV shot, and
Yes, that's a
Mega
good
Mike
comment.
is not a Christian nationalist. He's a Christofascist.
Okay.
Okay.
Christofascist.
He's right. Right.
Mhm.
Well, he's both. Two in one.
So we were discussing. Go ahead.
As we were saying.
As we were saying.
That's the clever little line that we have for our title.
Yeah.
As we were saying, we were talking about election funding. Didn't quite finish the whole story, but Republicans argue that they should have instead the local governments that wanted help with their elections. They should have accepted staffing assistance from the Wisconsin National Guard, who are trained to take care of elections, right? What is wrong with these people?
The National Guard?
My God. Look, these are the gerrymandered Republicans in charge of our state. Safely in their districts, they don't have to do anything that's correct.
Mm-hmm. So you were talking before about Zuckerberg being involved with this, right?
Yes,
In 2020, over 200 municipalities across Wisconsin received money from the Center for Tech and Civic Life. That's the nonprofit backed by Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and his wife.
That included conservative areas as well, but they never bring that up, and the Democrats never bring it up either.
Mm-hmm. Now, here in Madison, Madison's grant money was spread out with $500,000 allotted to be spent in 2023 and $1 million set aside for 2024. But election officials have not yet spent any of the funds. And Mayor,
because they can't.
Yeah, that's right. They can't. They haven't been able to because they don't really have it. It hasn't been released by the legislature. And this is what Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway said about some of this. One of our top priorities as a city is to make sure that every person who's eligible is able to vote safely and securely in every single election. And to that end, the clerk's office has partnered with and in some instances received grants from nonprofit organizations. Right. If the legislature is concerned about such grants, they should make them unnecessary by fully funding local clerks to conduct elections. Let the money, let the money come in. Now, the effort to do an amendment to all of this, which would expand the funds and make them available, is stalled out. The city intends to certainly spend some of the grant funds for the spring election period, if they're released. They have $1.5 million. And here's what they would use that money for. Ballot marking devices, tools that would help the routing of the equipment, larger and more efficient cages to lock up materials. They need to lock things up and make sure they're secure.
Secure the election.
Yes. iPads for chief inspectors at the polling places to better communicate with the clerk's office. But, of course, there's no set timeline yet on when the grant money will be spent. So we don't know.
Who needs any of that when you have the Wisconsin National Guard to come in?
With their
soldiers,
camo and their bayonets.
That's the answer to everything for them. Dane County Clerk Scott
Guard.
McDonald said the grants, it's sort of confusing, the reaction against them. If the legislature wants to cut off this source of revenue, maybe they could dedicate some of the billions they're sitting on for elections around the state. And it's true. Evers vetoed their tax cut plan again yesterday. I mean, billions of dollars. They have a surplus of about $3 billion, basically. Instead, they want to give it back as a tax cut, and those people who pay the most taxes are the ones who are better off, and they'll get all that money back. They don't have to. We could actually take care of elections and make them more secure in our state. But no, we have to bring the Wisconsin National Guard in for some ridiculous reason, you know? They're always, you know, the military is always a solution for just about everything. So this is unbelievable. And the bad thing about this is going to be a constitutional amendment approved by the voters in a referendum. And they know that people don't pay that much attention to these referendums. They approve it. Well, you know, it sounds good. You know, we don't want outside groups influencing. You know, they're going to just go by the surfacey rhetoric, and they're going to vote for this amendment, and then we won't be able to fund. They could actually, at that point, once this is an amendment, they could actually starve the elections.
Wow.
And
think about that.
And make it even more difficult.
Make it more difficult
for local governments to be able to administer these things. So anyway, this is a big story. I mean, you know, when you pass these things, they're in the Constitution. You can't get rid of them. So
let's have the National Guard standing by.
Yes,
because that'll solve everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Bring those guys in, and
what was it in Milwaukee? I think they wanted to bring the National Guard in as a solution to psych. Wow, it was just the most ridiculous story. Can't remember it. Anybody out there help? Come on.
Sure. Call us. Text us. You can do that right from the Civic Media app.
They wanted,
Get right
National
in on the
Guard
show.
to solve something. It was just so over the top. Maybe it wasn't Milwaukee, but
okay.
All right.
608-879-8255. Hey, weather today, just in case you haven't looked out the window. It's rainy. We've had a little rain-snow mix.
Sleet.
A mix of precipitation.
That's right.
Yeah. 36 degrees. Highs today, mid-40s. Rain and snow off and on today. Yeah. Take your umbrella along. Yeah.
Another story.
Okay.
Another story.
What do you
very,
got?
very important. Immigration. The headline was Milwaukee is shrinking. Nashville and Minneapolis are growing, and they're thriving because of immigrants. Milwaukee is losing people due to declining birth rates and people leaving. Without the influx of immigrants, the metro's population would have shrunk considerably. Now, this is the recent study that's going on, and this is a big deal because, as we all know, Trump wants to deport everybody that isn't, you know, a citizen. You know, if you have a visa, if you're here legally, that's not going to happen. So, you know, they're going to get rid of all immigration. They're going to stop immigration coming in from this country, and this will be a major problem for job creation, creating growth, economic growth.
So for Milwaukee, they're losing people.
They're losing people.
And why did they say this is?
Because of immigrants. Metro Milwaukee is now barely half of that of the nation's average for immigrant populations. The Wall Street Journal said the historic rise in immigration is the result of the U.S. catching up on a backlog of visa applications and the Biden administration's accelerating work permits, which is a big problem, right? Republicans hate that. The result of that has been a boost to the U.S. economy as labor shortages and wages and price pressures ease. And that's what we want. But nope. No, we gotta stop people from coming to this country, becoming citizens, becoming workers under, you know, work visas. We got to stop all that. We got to deport them, set up camps, and put them there until we can ship them out.
What were the two cities you mentioned? Their growing population?
Nashville and Minneapolis. Yeah.
Okay. Nashville.
Trump's plan also includes fast-track mass deportations and detention camps and the deployment of state law enforcement to conduct raids. And that's big news for the Wisconsin dairy industry because there's a lot of, you know, immigrant help there.
And on it goes. I mean, those are buzzwords that he likes to use. Fast track. You know, we're gonna move on this immediately. We're gonna start rounding up people. We're gonna put them in camps. We're going to ship them out.
Right. A 2021 analysis produced by the Brookings Institute noted that cities with the fastest growing immigrant populations over the period from 2010 to 2019 were all medium-sized cities with thriving economies led by Charleston, South Carolina, Des Moines, Iowa, Louisville, Kentucky, Columbus, Ohio, and Nashville, Tennessee. In many of these cases, immigrants reversed long-standing population declines. More important, immigrants' high rates of entrepreneurship and labor force participation helped boost local economies that had been stagnant for decades. These are all the positives about immigration, folks. This is the good part, and they want to stop it because they don't want immigrants in this country. They do not want the white majority threatened.
Mm-hmm. Now, I think Madison has actually grown in population over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because of
Fastest
places like,
growth.
because of medical, like we were talking about before.
Tech.
Yeah.
Big tech.
High tech.
We've recently been recognized as a tech hub.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a big thing, And they hate Madison. Republicans hate Madison. Those guys at the Capitol, they work at the Capitol in town,
about a block
but
away.
They hate the city they're working in. Maybe we should just send them a message, maybe when they're walking around in a restaurant or something like that, they hate this town so damn much. Let them know, folks. Tell them how much you love it. Right there, as they're eating supper. Go ahead. Or having a beer at the bar. Go ahead. Explain to them how bad the city is for them.
You should be working at the Chamber of Commerce for Madison.
Yeah.
I think you could get a lot
Bomb
done there.
thrower, right? Boom.
No, go there.
Oh, my gosh. The statistics are there, by the way.
Yeah.
A 2022 study found that metros and counties with relatively large immigrant populations shares perform better in household income, innovation, overall productivity, and startup businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I remember reading some study where they said the immigrant population is really a business creator. They start their own businesses.
Well, that's true. Yes.
They're the ones who are creating all the business. Like 40 or 50% of the businesses are created by immigrants. So when you take them out of the sloop, we're just creating bigger and worse problems. And by the way, it just gives the Republican Party more to complain about. The system's not working. Blame the Democrats.
Yeah, that's
just, keep this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the way, the public views on immigration are favorable. In a national Gallup poll conducted in June of this year, 68% of those surveyed said that immigration is a good thing for the country today. Just 27% said it was a bad thing. So they're going against 68% of the population in the poll, basically saying immigration's good. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Let's put them in camps. Fast track them out. Jeez. This is just like the opposite of what they should be doing. You can't make this stuff up. This is, this is really, truly the worst way to govern a country, much less a state. And that's where we're at right now. These guys can't run anything, and we're watching it happen at the nation's capital.
Well, that's right.
The House is just in total dysfunction,
Well, they haven't really passed much lately, the House of Representatives. Again, one thing. Name one thing that they've passed, right?
Right.
We were all over that yesterday.
Should we play that
Chip
again?
Roy? Should we go back to that?
Let's play the...
we have that? Should we...
Just one reason.
One thing.
There we go.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, that I can go campaign on and say we did. One. Anybody sitting in the complex, if you want to come down to the floor and come explain to me one material, meaningful, significant thing the Republican majority has done besides... Well, I guess it's not as bad as the Democrats.
Yeah, well, it is as bad.
Chip Roy.
That is just amazing, though.
From
really,
Texas.
They just said it like it was.
Yeah, well, good for him for standing up and saying that and calling his fellow Republicans out on it, because all they've done this year is obstruct.
That's it.
Delay. Kick the can. Hey, we'll be back after these important messages.
On WNDX 92.7. Mad Radio 92.7. John and Gordy Show. WMDX.
10 minutes before the top of the hour. Yesterday was Joe Biden's birthday. We didn't even send our birthday greetings out.
He said it was like, it's difficult when you turn 67.
Look at the birthday cake.
Is that what he said?
It's a flaming birthday cake. Yes, Joe Biden is 127 years old yesterday.
How did they do that?
I don't know.
That is wild.
We just saw a picture with
on
him.
CNN. There was a picture of him sitting at a table with the cake just flaming on.
Just a big torch.
It was yeah. Wow.
Anyway.
Okay.
Hey, you know what we haven't done all morning long? We haven't spun the news wheel.
Which is something we often forget about because it's behind us.
That's right.
But
so let's spin the wheel.
Logistically, it doesn't matter.
We only have a few minutes left for today's program, so let's see what we can
see
do.
where we'll go next.
Where will we go now? Round and
as we wander.
We're spinning. We're dizzy.
Wander the topics.
Where will it land? Where will it land? There.
Ooh,
right there.
Climate.
Climate change.
That's
John, I just happen to have a story right here.
Unbelievable. Please pass it along to us before we can't stand it anymore.
For the first time since record keeping began, which was a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
Earth has surpassed a critical temperature threshold that scientists have long warned could unleash the worst effects of climate change.
That's true.
On Friday, the planet soared 2.07 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, or the 1850 to 1900 year average. What?
And that was a momentary fluctuation, but it's a dangerous fluctuation.
Well, it is. Now, 2 degrees Celsius, or if you want to convert it to
Yes,
Fahrenheit, that's 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
That's the internationally... Everybody okay over there? It sounded like somebody fell over. Oh, he just closed the door. Okay. I get distracted. What was I saying?
Squirrel.
3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the internationally agreed upon upper limit of warming established back in 2015. Remember that Paris climate agreement in 2015? Yeah. Well, guess what? We've blown right past that. Yep. At least a couple of times here recently. Now, the agreement seeks to hold the increase and blah, blah, blah. Well,
are we all still alive yet, aren't we?
Yeah, we're still alive.
All of this whining and crying and alerts.
Yeah,
I know. We're all doing just fine.
Well, I know you'd like to think that,
turn the windshield wipers on. Well, the windows are clear.
Here comes reality.
Yeah.
Scientists have long warned that sustained warming of 1.5 degrees or more will lead to cascading risks for human and planetary systems, including, get this list, including negative impacts on ecosystems, biodiversity, water supplies, and food security. Yeah, that's all up for grabs now.
Yeah.
Warming land and ocean temperatures are already contributing to sea level rise. That's true. Melting ice sheets and increased hazards such as heat waves, drought, and extreme precipitation. This is all according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. These guys are really busy now trying to figure this out.
Well, just a little warning to people that are planting in spring, as they always do, there are new charts.
New charts?
For the plants.
Oh, that's right. They've changed.
Regional planning for the plants. And now it's changed. So some plants will not be right. And some plants now will be on that list that you can plant around your home because climate change.
Yeah.
But, my mega friend in Milwaukee always says it's the greatest hoax ever foisted off on the American public.
Well, now, maybe he should listen to this. Surpassing 2 degrees once or twice in the whole global warming thing. Once or twice, if you go over that 2-degree limit that we were talking about, that everybody was so scared that we do that and then everything's going to change. Well, once or twice, that doesn't indicate necessarily a point of no return, according to the spokesman.
Goodness.
But the record-setting weekend is noteworthy of some larger trends. So here's the question for this spokesperson and how he puts it. Is the planet warming? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we going to see days above 2 degrees before we get to weeks above 2 degrees and maybe months before we get to years? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And is the planet right now going through an exceptional warming spurt? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. 2023 is proving to be exceptional in both the impacts and these metrics. Does it mean that we're all going to slide into oblivion?
Pretty soon.
Yes.
Yep. So that's the conclusion I came up with, too.
I wish I could say no, but it doesn't look good.
So if you want a bottom line on it, at least in Wisconsin, Wisconsin has become hotter or warmer and wetter. And that changes the plans for farmers and what they'll plant.
Well,
be able to plant.
And an El Nino this winter. So they're saying actually it's going to be drier and warmer. And that's not great.
Right.
It's not good. On top of all this that I just mentioned, it's going to be tough.
The other thing I've been watching, it's this in Iceland. There's a town that is going to be just obliterated by lava because apparently there's an eruption that is about to take place.
Yeah, that's right.
And the magma is going to cover this entire. They call it a town. I'm thinking, carts going down Main Street, but it's not bad. This is like a city, and it is about to be covered with lava.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I just took me back. I was thinking, this is not some small village with pitchforks.
Well, and
this is a real city.
In fact, there's something in this article about volcanoes. Researchers have also posted that last year's eruption of the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hape volcano. You can see that on a T-shirt.
You've been working on that for a long time.
They have T-shirts with that on.
Yeah.
That's in the South Pacific. It may be contributing to extreme warming this year.
Yeah.
The eruption shot record amounts of heat-trapping water vapor into the atmosphere. So we can't win. I mean, the volcanoes, what are you going to do? Put a cork in it? No, they're going to explode.
That's right.
That's contributing to the warming.
There's a lot of volcanic activity around the world.
Yes.
The thing is, they're saying this is not unusual. It's not an uptick. This is normal. It's just happening. But, in Iceland, an entire city being wiped out with lava, and that's what they're expecting.
Yeah.
That's pretty devastating.
An
amazing thing. You got to see the picture of the city. It's like, wow, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
It's just
mind-boggling. Bottom line, Al Gore was right. Where is Al Gore these days?
Well,
we need him.
They shoveled him out.
I think he actually did quite well with his movie, and then he just decided to retire. And was like, well, I did what I.
Who's listening?
Yeah, nobody's listening.
No one
might
cares.
As well fade into the wilderness. Oh boy! So that's some uplifting news as we wrap up today's program.
Yeah. Gearing up for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Which you love.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Okay.
Can't wait for it to be over.
I feel like we covered a lot of ground.
We did.
Today,
we did.
And we'll have more tomorrow.
And
right?
Does that count for steps today? Or?
Yeah. That's it for the John and Gordy Show for this Tuesday. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Let the sun shine. It's the John and Gordy